What's going on, family? Javen from the Spoken Word podcast. You know how it is, but just before I start, this is not a podcast. This is one of my. So let me just go into this. So what's to come ahead? So I'm going to talk about Top Boy. What my thoughts on the final season in this little show we're going to be doing. So before I start that, let me just clarify some things for you guys, my audience. Just hit the like, subscribe button, please. As always, share it, comment, leave your thoughts down below. Much appreciated. So basically, this Spoken Word podcast is a podcast that that I do. It always be the main bread and butter of this channel, but one of my ideas for the future was to also, because you guys always ask, I'm always getting people asking me about collaborating with other people. I've had people ask us to go on their shows, people to come on our shows. When we grow, we will probably be doing a lot more of that, collaborations. But one of my ideas as well, and this is the first time I'm going to do this, so this is a bit more uncut and raw, was having my shows where I'm going to maybe interview someone in the future, maybe that's not specifically about the podcast, but in a different, a bit more relaxed format without the microphones, maybe something a bit different. Also doing my standalone shows as well, where I report on things. It'll be shorter shows, so not like the standard podcast thing, but that will come more in the future as you guys follow this journey that we are all on together. But yeah, so stay tuned for that. But what I wanted to do, so because I know it's been 2 weeks since we last put a show out, so about Top Boy, so that came out on the 6th or 7th of September. I believe, and I didn't want to put the show out straight away. I wanted to give a bit of time. So also, guys, if you haven't seen Top Boy and still haven't watched it yet, don't continue watching the show. I don't want to spoil it for you. It's the spoiler alert. So go and watch it and come back to it if you wish. But yeah, we'll get into it. What I think. So. Top Boy is a UK show that a lot of us are all familiar with. We all grew up watching or been following since it started. So Top Boy is interesting because it actually started in 2011 and it's known as Summer House. So there's 4 episodes in 2011 known as Top Boy Summer House, and then followed 2 years later in 2013 there was another 4 episodes also known as Top Boy Summer House. This was all on Channel 4. Now, after that, the show was reportedly cancelled for reasons I can't remember. I have to look that up. But what I do know is in 2019, the show was brought back with the help of Drake, and that became on Netflix's production line network. So Netflix have taken over it, so it's no longer on Channel 4. But even though Netflix does have Top Boy Summer House that was on Channel 4, you can actually watch on Netflix as well. So you can watch show. What I would advise, guys, a lot of people watched it from 2019 season 1, but technically season 1 is actually from 2011 Summer House Days. So if you want the full experience and to watch the story properly and get the whole thing journey right, I'd advise people watch it from Top Boy Summer House Days in 2011 followed to the final season. That's how I would watch it if I'm thinking logically about it. So. With Top Boy, you've got 2 main characters. You got quite a few main characters, but the 2 standout main characters goes by the name of Deshane Hill, also known as Asher D from So Solid Crew, Ashley Walters, and also Sully, also known as Kano or Kane Robinson, who's also a grime MC from back in the day as well, who's still doing good things now. Those are the 2 people playing Deshane and Sully. So in Summer House, you have them starting off as up and coming street hustlers and criminals. They actually work for a boss known as Bobby Rakes. If you guys remember Bobby Rakes, if you know about him, you're an OG. But fast forward later on to Netflix, when it starts showing on Netflix now, they advanced in their criminal career. They're more seasoned. They've seen a lot of things, including deleting people, selling poison and drugs also known as food. And they've got the ranks and made a lot of money between the both of them, which has been the ambition from day one. Not that it's a good thing, but for the purpose of fictional, we can see it as entertainment. I'm not advising people go and do that. I wouldn't do it myself. I'm not about that life. But so we've gone through so many different storylines and characters connected to these people, but then we get to the final season now. So the final season, that's what I came to talk about really. Now, my thoughts on that. I love Top Boy as an overall series, but the final season really disappointed me, in my opinion. And I'm not gonna lie, I was waiting, especially because we waited 3 years. No, sorry, not 3, I'm lying. Waited a year since last year because of COVID. So 2019, it got brought back, and then 2022, the next season came back. So the second to last season, because of COVID, delayed filming. And then the latest season, the final season, which aired just a fortnight ago, there was reports in the media about delays to being filmed because there's been falling out between cast members. They didn't apparently agree with how the characters were being written or the storylines that was going to be portrayed. There was whispers of all that going on. So I'm like, okay, cool. So we're waiting. September comes. I'm one of the first people that probably watch it. I put on Netflix. I go and watch the show, and I see 6 episodes. I'm like, what? Why is there 6 episodes? I was like, oh, this is a red flag. I was like, no, something smells here, man. In fact, when you see 6 episodes, I was like, unless it's like an hour and a half long each, maybe I'd rather it be 10 episodes really, especially the final season, maybe 12 even, but 10 minimum. If it's gonna be like a 50 minutes. But then what happens? I click episode 1 out of the last season, out of the 6 episodes, I see 52 minutes, 48 minutes on another episode. I'm like, what is going on? So basically there's this new what my main point of this season, what I'm disappointed about, I feel like it was very slapdash and like rushed, and there was a lot of disregard for like the consumers, us that are watching it. And I'm like, there was this new organised crime family, Irish family, that were in, that were meant to be so bad and menacing and scary, and the thing is, I'm all for them bringing a new family in the last season, because I'm all for that, but as long as it's done properly and it's fleshed out, you give enough time to see what they can actually go and do. Now, they were shown to have decapitated, so basically beheaded, very top-ranked people of the Moroccan organised family that were abroad in the season before, for you guys, just to jog you guys' memory. And it was meant to show how bad and dangerous they were meant to be, threatened Sully and threatened his family. You're like, wow. But then they were easily killed by episode 3. They were so easily killed off. I was like, what was the point then? And that's why I thought there was a lot of loose ends as well. They were killed so easily. So at that point, there wasn't really a rival organised crime family by that point. So you think that the focus will be mostly on Deshane and Sully at Lockerhead's throats, because their relationships have changed throughout the series. You've seen that they've grown apart. They've come together, grown apart again. You see that their relationship's never been the same. There's a respect issue dynamic going on in between them two. Right? There can only be one top boy. There's a lot of betrayals that's been going on. So I thought, my opinion, after last season when Sully went and took out Jamie, I thought that Deshane would be after him, as an example, but Sully kind of let Jamie know, Deshane know that he took Jamie out, and Deshane was, even though he was angry, Deshane didn't go heavily after Sully, which I thought maybe. Stefan, and guys, this is what I mean by loose. There's a lot of loose ends and some things that are a bit weird. So Stefan, being the youngest brother, the camera zoomed in on his eyes after Sully deleted Jamie in front, so cold-heartedly in front of his eyes. So we all thought, oh, Stefan's gonna be the guy after Sully, which it did look like it was going on in the last season that just finished. But then there was but he was just in a home, and obviously he's been provided by his oldest brother Jamie, who's no longer was no longer around. So it was Aaron, who is his second oldest brother. He's gone to university, but you don't see him at all. You just hear one little murmur of him. I think when because Stefan's got a girlfriend now that he first gets physically intimate with. His first time getting physically intimate with. So I think that's the first time I think they mention about his brother Aaron being in Leeds and continuing with his educational studies, which is good, positive, unlike his eldest brother. So that's happening, but it just seems very much you're just abandoned. You're just in some home with random strange people that you don't know, and with your newfound trauma and psychological issues that you've probably got. But I feel like we see we're back with Deshane now. We see there's this Irish lady called Lizzie, who is on the non-violent side of things, but involved in a criminal organisation of things. She's meant to have fled with the accountant Life, which we do see in the last season. We don't see Lizzie at all, and they're meant to flee with his million pounds of ill-gotten gains of cash that he's accumulated over his career as a criminal. Which I was surprised. I thought we'll see Lizzie, but we don't. Okay, maybe fair enough. But then we see Lizzie's husband Jeffrey, who Deshane ends up removing from planet Earth because he takes out his anger on him. But it seems so for someone that's meant to be so seasoned and experienced, the way Deshane handled that situation seemed so emotional. And don't get me wrong, if someone, the person you got real issues with, that's run off with your millions of pounds, anyone will be hacked off, whether it was ill-gotten or not ill-gotten. But he decided to take all his frustration out on the husband because he was the only one that he can see in front of him. He can't track. He doesn't know where Lizzie is. She could be anywhere. She could be in Mexico on some beach in a bikini enjoying his millions. She could even be in her hometown island. No, probably not, because that's too close to that's Northern Ireland. That's in the UK. If it's Republic of Ireland, it's nearby anyway. It's too close to home. So he takes it out on Jeffrey, and then that is where the demise of him really happens, because he now has to leave. He now needs to flee, but the way he was moving just seemed very much. It seemed like he was really. Maybe it was just getting to him. The toll of being this criminal getting to him. Maybe he's lost his mother now. His brother doesn't speak to him because of for obvious reasons. Known as Chris, that's his name. His girlfriend ends up leaving him. But I just feel like with the other side of things, we had Jack. So Jack, this is what I didn't understand. This is what was weird to me. I got my notes here. This is what was weird to me. With Jack, after last season or the season before, when she kind of chooses her sister Lauren, who I'll get onto in a second, Lauren, she basically kind of goes against Sully and Deshane, a bit of both, for the sake of protecting Lauren, her sister, which anyone could probably understand why she did that. But then obviously these two are involved in criminality. They see it as loyalty, because you get a lot of hypocrisy in that world. And knowing how Sully, especially Sully, operates, right, on principle, can't lie to him, can't do anything against him that he doesn't like, otherwise more often than not he will end up be removing you from planet Earth. you think that, because I remember Deshane lashed out at her saying, I'm not going to be responsible for what Sully does. And you think that Jack learned her lesson. So for her to steal the money from Sully again this time, knowing after, even though it's a different situation, it's still going against him, didn't make sense for her character. Character Jack's meant to be smart and has had nearby experiences before. It didn't make sense for me for why she would move like that. And I felt sorry for how Kieran, which we assume is now no longer with us because, well, in the show, because where Sully, because he lied to Sully, he covered up for Jack, which I felt sorry for him because he was caught in a catch-22. If he just tells them outright, Deshane and Sully, this Jack took your money, so he promised Jack that he will look out for her. He thinks that Jack will end up being removed, which for obvious reasons. So he keeps that quiet. He pretends that he doesn't know, and then he kind of like points direction in the rival family called with the Fields. Makes Sully look like a goofball, going out there, putting a gun in my man's throat, making him basically choke up, humiliating, and just it's disturbing scene. So he ends up making Kieran pay the ultimate price, or presumably the ultimate price. It was off screen, so we can only assume what happened to him, never see him ever again. And then also with the one thing I did like about the scene I just finished, though, I did like the dialogue between Deshane and Sully. It was very more emotional and personal. It wasn't just they had. You could see that Sully, even though Sully did tell one of the youngers to if he does see Deshane take him out, the guy does fail to do that. Deshane gets there first. Deshane tries to run off some like locked high gate with his money, throws it over, tries to run off. Sully catches up to him and he directs the trigger in his side. I think the side of his body, the hip or something, rather than going for the head. A headshot. Try to slow him down. Deshane does end up bleeding out to death, but you can see that it was a very personal dialogue. I'd have given you the money. What you playing at? No, you wouldn't. You're lying. Blah blah blah. Before it was brothers, only brothers when it suits you. You can see the personal. They've been through a lot together, and it's sad ending times. Shows you that it only ends up in one place, and that everyone betrays each other in the end, and people end up dead or in jail. So, yeah, not the life that people should be taking part in. But then what really done it for me as well was when Sully ended up getting his comeuppance, the writers thought it was a good idea to leave it up to viewers to speculate on the last season, a show we've been following for 12 years. Like, come on, man. This just show us who done it, man. Because we thought Stefan was going to be the person to do it. He ends up looking like that. He decides that he's going to be a bigger person and he's not worth it. Which, I'm not going to lie, surprised me. But then again, I thought, so he's going to live then. And then obviously we end up seeing that he doesn't end up living, but we don't know who ends up getting rid of him. We can only speculate. Is it Jack? Is it Jack? Is it Kieran's mum? Did Stefan change his mind? I'm like, that's not smart, man. Unless there's another season, then you can't do that. So I just feel like, it just wasn't given. It really wasn't given. Lot of characters just not in the show. It was so you can see it was slapdash. It was slapdash. I'll be honest. I wasn't a fan. I wasn't happy. Like, obviously I watched it because it's Top Boy and I want to see the series. That's one of my favourite series that I've ever watched. TV series I've ever watched, but I thought like they kind of done us a lot dirty. I feel there's a lot to give. Should have done a lot more than they actually put out there. And I just feel like it wasn't really fair on us as viewers. Like they should have done a lot more. But yeah, they didn't. They just kind of left it like that. And there's now talks of potential spin-offs, like similar to guys if you're familiar with like the American TV series Power. There's always spin-offs now. I think there's one that just got released the other day. I think my younger brother was actually watching it. But I ain't got a problem with the spin-offs, but as long as you don't do the main series, especially the ending, properly. So now I'm kind of like, I thought very underwhelmed, and I just feel like it wasn't really fair on us as a viewership. If anything, I'd rather if they waited a lot longer and then done it properly. If they meant done that, I think we'd be a lot more grateful. They say good things come to those that wait. I'd rather done that if that's what it was going to be. Maybe time was getting on. There's a lot of disagreements, a lot of rewriting again, and then they're probably thinking, all right, we got to put something out to the general public to go and watch. So they kind of just like, yeah, just do that, do here, do that. We'll just do that very quickly. It's not happy, not really happy about that. But yeah, guys, let me know what you think in the comments below. Again, please like this video, subscribe if you haven't already. For new around here, subscribe, please like the video as well. It's free. I want to put shows like I want to do more shows like this if I can as well. Hopefully, I'll get better at it as well. But yeah, different backgrounds, do that, and yeah, just keep supporting the thing on this journey. Trying to get us to 100 subscribers before the end of the new year. It's only 25 to go. Everyone do their part. Like it as well, helps the algorithm going. But yeah, guys, let me know what you think. Was you happy with this season's Top Boy? Do you feel like we're being ungrateful, too picky, or do you feel like there's a lot of the criticism, which not just my opinion, but a lot of other people is justified? Let us know. And until next time, guys.